What's up? Peace and love, peace and light. What's going on, everybody? This whole vibe has been in full effect. That's all I can say about that. In full effect. I don't know about y'all, but if y'all have been feeling like activated, like switched on, but then still on a different level, I've been kind of tired and kind of withdrawn. It's been really weird. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling encouraged. I'm feeling inspired, and shit's starting to shift for me. I'm feeling it. Can y'all feel that? Can y'all feel that shift? I'm doing good. I'm in a good space. And I think that I got me a little vacation schedule, much needed. For the anniversary, we moving up to year number 14, y'all. 14 years we've been married. And that 14 carries that 5 energy, which is all about changing. So I'm expecting us to change for the better. It seems that we're starting to shift into this new frequency of us really knowing our each other on a different level, right? And while he has his thing and I have mine, we're still able to come together and still be able to function as one. And this has just been like a really enlightening time for me. And especially if you're one of those cats like me that is surrounded by a lot of people that really don't deal with a lot of the spiritual knowledge, really ain't looking to astrology for answers, really don't look for the signs and symbols out there. You get more of a grounded spiritual experience. I'm here to tell you. I think that I used to try to get my husband on board with a lot of the spiritual concepts. And while he gets it on a very basic level, it's not really his thing. But now we've gotten to a space where he knows that I do what I'm doing. And when I'm telling him about something, he's in a space where he can listen to me without completely dismissing me. Like I would tell him some stuff like, oh, we gotta, this full moon energy is coming up. Let me get my rituals together. And he would look at me and kind of roll his eyes, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then when I would explain to him like what this energy is all about and why it's important, like this full moon right here, this in Capricorn, which is really good about us getting, setting our setting those intentions that's really towards us getting our finances in order, and really the work that we're doing and like gaining that momentum and the discipline to be able to shift and make some changes within our life. Doesn't necessarily have to be material, but when I think about Capricorn energy, I'm thinking about that whole type of vibe anyway. But it could definitely be about whatever goals. There was a time where he used to just look at me and like kind of cut me off when I'm in the middle of the conversation. And now the energy has shifted, right? To where I got into a space where I started returning that energy. Was that in the best thing? I don't know. I don't give a shit. It was effective at that particular time where I started returning that energy to him. And so if he started talking about something, whatever his cleaning business, the chemicals that he's getting, whatever in the hell is going on with that particular situation, I would totally cut him the hell off. But he can notice that, right? And would say something to me to the effect of, I mean, what's up with that, whatever, whatever. And then I'm letting him know like, well, this is what I'm experiencing and everything. And so being in that space where you can communicate a lot more effectively instead of walking over eggshells and pretending like ain't nothing going on and we can just kind of navigate through our lives and everything because it ain't nothing real and drastic and everything. Because me and him, we got the king and the queen of the petty squabble. We don't really have any real life pressing issues going on at this particular time, but us spending all of this time within quarantine, we can have a petty squabble on just about any and every subject you can think about. And philosophy and how we go about doing shit has been one of the big ones. But this has also been one that is causing people to have a lot of divorces out here in these streets too, fam. Why am am I going there? Oh, anniversary, right. But this is why it's been having a lot of folks to have a lot of divorces out here in these streets. It's really important that we begin to pay attention to our communication and our connections. And then with this energy that's lined up, we got Mercury right now in Cancer, which is really a perfect time for us to start communicating our feelings, communicating our emotions. And I think with us, we've been in complete alignment with getting our perspectives across to each other so that we can be a lot more aware and a lot more intelligent with how we handling each other. Because when you want a relationship to be successful, when you want it to really work, you really got to be mindful of those little things. Like if you with somebody that ain't trying to hear nothing you got to say, you know how off-putting that shit is. And for years, I think that I was in a space where it didn't really bother me so much at the time. Or maybe we were talking about something that was on the same page. I'm not really sure where that disconnect was coming from. But now, as my conversation has shifted to more of a deeper dive, a more insightful look, a more spiritual eye on a lot of the events that's happening in the world, the situations that's going on around me. Not only is he starting to respect the wisdom of the spiritual truths, I ain't got it, but the spiritual truths, but now we're also in a more open space where we can kind of have this exchange and he can give me his perspective, which is very grounded, very down to earth, very third dimensional. And then me bringing in a completely different and spiritual perspective and everything. And we bring those two together. And it's respected. And even if we don't agree, we can definitely agree to disagree. And so that's a really good space for us to be in, because we used to really butt heads a lot on, you ain't hearing me out. You didn't hear what the hell I had to say. Let me finish my sentence. Can you be quiet for just a moment? So that was kind of the vibe where we was getting into and everything, a petty squabble about absolutely fucking nothing, about how we think that women should show up in this world, how we think men need to present themselves, what our whole situation. Now we done got together years ago, years ago, on the same page. But when you're a spiritual being, your perspective starts to evolve and how you see this world starts to evolve. And so those relationships that's close to you, that's all around you, they begin to evolve. And when you start seeing the world a little differently, this is what's going to help you, my loves, be able to separate the reals from the not so much, or even be able to determine those relationships that was more seasonal as opposed to those that are really in it to win it. Those that's ride or die, those that's going to really be there for you regardless of where you're at in life. They still riding right alongside you and supporting you. And when you have those types of relationships, having an opportunity to recalibrate is so essential. So here's to year number 15, our little getaway that we're going to have, which is really, well, we ain't took a vacation in 2 years, y'all. 2 years. And so this is just long awaited. And I'm going to take that time, and we will take that time, and we will enjoy ourselves. I feel so encouraged with that. So let me talk about some dope shit. These chakra bath bombs that I got on deck are second to none. This is all about acting some energy centers, right? Got them all in alignment with the energy center that we're working with. So you drop them bath bombs in, it's gonna color your water to the chakra that we're intending on working with. We setting intentions and we doing that work in a powerful and profound way. Lit me up some candles, y'all, and really got some healing with that. This is an optimal time, but you do it anytime. But you know, that moon energy is just something that's special to me with that whole bath action, whatnot, whatever. You know, you can find that shit at prettypriestess.com. And I'm telling you, these bath bombs are the bomb.com. It is worth every dime investing in yourself. Also there at prettypriestess.com is Holistic Appeal. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. It's a concise approach to get us in alignment with our most appealing self and divine life experience, man. I'm here to tell you, very concise approach, letting you know about how the energy flows, how it goes, how to navigate that shit, and some different things that will assist us in really maximizing that energy. It's definitely a thing to check out, right? And if you're one of those cats, and I'm thinking about putting this on an audio book, if you're one of those cats that's not really into sitting there reading these novels, because I could have easily drew that shit out to 300 and something pages, right? Because I can go on and on and on and on and on about a subject, right? But this is a concise approach, and I'm glad that I had so much stall. I had so much drawback because this book was written a few years back when I was really about the business of taking care of my health and renewing my life and all of this other shit. That's the space that I was in. The knowledge base may not have been where it is today, but it was enough for me to get in there, see what I was trying to say, clean it up a little bit, and move on to the next thing. And what I was really doing was just finishing the word so that I can move on to the next thing, because I wasn't in that space anymore. But then I go back and I read it. Spirit guide pulled coat like, oh, you need to check this. You need to read this book because you all disconnected from it, right? And I read that book, and for where I'm at today, like I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't fell back, you know what I'm saying? I done went back to chicken wings, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? I like Miller time and all of this, except it's not Miller, it's Dos Equis. But however, you know what I'm saying? I like that time. We go out and we still have date night and have a few drinks, whatever, you know? And so with that, I just didn't feel that I was connected to that work. Surprise, surprise, my loves. I absolutely was able to make the connection, because when I went back and read that, it gave me some inspiration and encouragement on navigating that energy for right where I'm at right now. And then just really getting those overviews of harmony and a cappella that's in that book, which is really two different aspects of how at one point or the other I was experiencing life. So they're really just energetic expressions, right? And it really took me back into a place that I ended up full center coming back, you know? And really getting that encouragement to navigate through those energies, all of the thinking errors, all of the things that were before me. So that was just really, you know, some dope shit right there for me. I'm loving that shit. Got the showing up outfit planner. Do not get caught slipping without that shit. And the gratitude journal. If you're not waking up in a space of gratitude, raising your frequency, raising your vibration so that you can attract all of the shit that you setting out to get that's good for you, then you playing yourself. Straight up, you're playing yourself. So, full moon. I gotta get some guests on this show because I'm ready to ask questions. Ain't nobody finna give me the damn answer to. What you do for full moon ritual? Well, Shakesha, I'll tell you what I did. I really went back and did a ritual that didn't work out so right for me at one particular point. So during the earlier part of the month, I did this one ritual and the candle kept burning out. And so I'm not gonna get into that shit because, you know what I'm saying, I need to keep that to myself at this point. But the candle in the ritual kept going out and I'm like, what the hell? So it had me feeling some type of way, right? And even though I relit it and it went through and all of this other stuff, it just didn't sit right with me. So I said, well, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do, because I ain't feeling at peace with it. I'm doing it all over again. So that's what I did for this particular energy right here, is took this full moon, this Capricorn full moon, and really put my intention into this particular ritual, but use the energy a different way. So usually I'm charging it up with my intention, like really almost sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And I believe that this is, yes, it absolutely was the energy that I was in, where it was pressure. And like how if you are one of those people who pray and there's something that's going on in your life and you want some shit to change, and you're like, please go, that energy, right? And you think that you're really charging it up with the right intention and the right energy, but you're really kind of bringing the vibration more to a begging, I ain't got that shit energy, right? So I tried to lighten the energy and infuse it with more of a joy, easy type of vibe, right? And so far, so good. So I'll let y'all know how that shit turned out. But yeah, that's what I had to do, is just kind of like change the way that I was charging it. And change, and when I changed the way that I was charging it, I changed the way that I was feeling about that whole situation. And when I raised the frequency on that situation, I began to feel lighter about that situation. And so I'm feeling really optimistic about that as well. Typically for the full moon, what I do is a hair washing ritual. I ain't do that shit last night. I ain't feel like doing that shit. I just wanted to be to myself, and I wanted to sit there and Netflix and chill. And that's where I was at. I was just chilling, I put my conditioning rinse together. Now, this is one that I always use when it rains. I like to collect that rainwater up. I like to charge it up with my intention. I throw some apple cider vinegar, some frankincense and myrrh, some lavender, or whatever essential oil is vibing with me at that particular time. I heard one of the priestesses talk about eucalyptus oil. I said, shit, yeah, I need to get me some of that in my life, right? And I forgot all about it, and I got me some, so maybe I might rock with that eucalyptus on the strength of what she had to say, right? So shout out to Priestess Keisha for bringing that up to the cipher and everything. I never even would have thought about putting that eucalyptus on there, but that's a really good vibe to get into, because it helps you to release a lot of the bullshit and energy. It's a clarifying type of vibe. So I'm with that. I'm with that a lot. And then with this full moon energy, it's really good in releasing a lot of shit. So like, I like to take that day of the full moon and really like, boom, get all of that energy, that rah energy and everything. Then the day after, I really work more on releasing it with that full moon energy. I don't know, that's just my quirk, right? Because it seems like now we're more in that waning phase. And so with that is when I start really putting in some release rituals. So I think that I kind of timed that in a really good way. So yeah, I'm with that. So tonight I got that all charged up. I didn't even get to get none of the rainwater. It was coming down in buckets last night. And I'm grateful because it watered up my garden nicely, right? However, I had no rain catch out there to catch none of this full moon rain. What the hell was I thinking? I don't know. And it just did not click for me. So clearly, it was not meant to be for me to get that particular rain, because it didn't even get in my head to do that shit until the next morning. I'm like, oh, damn. Oh, and you know what I'm saying? I had my decks outside that they was covered up so they didn't get soaking wet and everything. My crystals out there and everything, the ones that I'm really trying to work with, I had them outside and everything. I said, I'm just leaving them on out here. Got everything all lined up, did not collect that water. I'm still feeling some type of way, but I got to keep trusting where I'm at, right? Because I know that divine order is always working for me. And regardless if my mind is telling me you slipping, you blew it, you missed it, you know what I'm saying? I also can trust that at that particular time, I did not need to have that. So I'm gonna move forward with that. And that's all a part of this discussion and me wanting to get into about the divine rebel. Because when we keep following systems, when we keep going along to get along, when we keep doing shit, because this is the way that it's always been done, we get ourselves in a space we don't want to be in. So I wanted to talk about the divine rebel and look at some of the signs and symbols of the divine rebel, right? We got this cancel culture out here, first of all. Everybody's influenced or trying to be an influencer and everything. We got emotions that takes us places, our conditioning that takes us to where we want to be. What's the sign and the symbol of the divine rebel? The divine rebel is somebody that's not really concerned with how other people think. These are the independent thinkers. Ain't concerned with how that, you know what I'm saying? Doing things for different reasons, doing the right things for the right reasons. Divine rebel. They have no issue with breaking the rules if they don't make sense. And we got a lot of bullshitting ass rules that we got out here in these streets, like you gotta collect that rainwater, whatever in the hell it is, right? But if they don't make sense, we independent in our thoughts enough to come up with what makes better sense for us. The side effect of that is that you go upset some folks, right? Because you breaking the rules. You upsetting folks because people don't like you breaking the rules. They don't like you breaking traditions. They don't like you going against the customs, the teaching. But when we expand, when we break the rules, when we look at the customs, when we break the traditions, this is a way for expansion to happen, right? If we stayed to a game plan that everybody else was on, if we stuck to what we knew and what was safe, there would be no expansion. We got to question the authority. Because if we don't, we become a pawn in somebody else's game. So I want to challenge us all to really start challenging this bullshit that's out here in these streets. Bullshit when you see it. Because it don't necessarily have to be where everybody is just on board with bullshit, where somebody come up with a delusional fucking idea and they want to get mad at you and cancel you if you don't agree with the delusion, whatever. I can make up some shit, tell somebody that I'm something that I ain't, and end up in a space where folks is telling me, no, that's not so. I'm telling you how I see it. And I'm upset and I'm encouraging folks to cancel me. But the divine rebel ain't concerned with that. Realizing that what's in their hearts, what they see is wrong. What they see is right. The integrity stays true. We got to challenge the bullshit. We got to challenge what doesn't work. We got to challenge the shit that's not fair, that's not righteous. See, because we got to, at the end of the day, we got to really look at this shit. Like, what are we really so afraid of? I sit in some discussions, some lectures, some meetings, anytime when humans gather. And one thing that I've noticed, it happens more often with women than it does men. When we get into a space where we don't agree with some shit, We tend to wait to see if somebody else is going to say something. It's starting to happen more often with men. But I've noticed that women have been chief offenders with this. And y'all know I'm the sister, right? But I want to call us on all of this, because regardless of how we view the world as threat, I don't really give two shits on how that is. But what you ain't finna do is tell me how to view it. That's what the divine rebel does. Divine rebel ain't worried about how somebody else is thinking about that. We concerned for your well-being. We love you, but this is the truth we stand in. This is where our square is. That's how it goes down. All in love. That doesn't mean that it turns into this oppositional, confrontational type of situation where you going at each other's necks because you ain't agreeing what I'm saying and this and that. See, because then we going right back into the bullshit of this all or nothing thinking. So we got to really start thinking, like, what the hell is we afraid of? Disapproval? And then what if they do? What does that mean? They don't want to deal with the real you? Do you think a connection like that is supportive to our well-being and our growth? No, you can't say that. You got to hold on. You got to agree with what the whole teaching. This is what the consensus is talking, and you better fall in line. This is how we traditionally doing it, and you doing it different. You better get your shit together. Fall in line. And then if you do, what type of connection do you got? Where's the authenticity in that? So should you lose yourself for them? I know that we're hardwired to be social. But pretending that we're someone that we're not is only going to give us fake connections. That's a sheep move, fam. It's a sheep move. Sheeps follow. Divine rebels. We ain't doing it that way. Authenticity is our birthright. You get to disagree, you know. You get to do that. And you get to have a different perspective. So watch out for those energies that won't allow you to do that shit. Watch out for those cats. I promise you they holding you back. I had to shut them fools down myself in my life. I had motherfuckers like that around. And now I'm in a space where you either do me or you don't. Like I had people in my circle, and these is people, you know, you related to them, so you feel like you gotta stay in communication and be connected to that type of vibe, right? But it's either you fall in line with the way that I'm comfortable with, or I'm totally shutting you down and disapproving of you. Now, how is a connection like that working for the well-being of you? You got to pretend you somebody the hell else. See, either you do me or you don't. You can take it or leave it alone, right? And so in this message that came through from spirit, man, because I really wasn't doing no podcast this week, but spirit gave me a message. I had to come on and get it. the goddess, the ascended master, my bad, KUAN Yin came through with a powerful message. So let's check out the ascended master. I pulled out and see, and I got this when I was dealing with my crystal mandala oracle by Alana Fairchild. This has been some gangster ass shit. I've had this for several years, and it's really been a tremendous blessing in my life. And I went to a workshop a few years back that really taught me about how to really benefit from the mandalas and working with them. And when I ran into this particular oracle, I knew that shit was divine. Grabbed it up immediately and got some serious blessings in my life. Mandalas are gangsters, so if you don't know nothing about that, definitely get with that. But the goddess KUAN Yin came through with a message for us, for the divine rebel. She comes through with the pearl. So hold up, let's look at who the goddess KUAN Yin is. Even if you want to call her a goddess, ascended master is what she is. She's known as the mother of mercy. Let me get that in here. Hold up. Let me what? I'm sorry, I didn't even share my screen for those that may be watching from YouTube. Let me share the screen because I will go off into a tangent and forget all about folks that's not around. Okay, so I got the goddess KUAN Yin here, who's known as the mother of mercy in the East. She's been worshipped by the Buddhists for thousands of years. She's one of the greatest bodhisattvas and embodies the totality of compassion for humanity. She removes obstacles, erases past offenses, dispenses mercy, healing, and spiritual graces while always meeting the true inner needs of the soul. Wow. Now this right here is a powerful energy to work with, the goddess KUAN Yin, the goddess KUAN Yin. And then she brings that pearl. And the pearl's spiritual meaning in working with the pearl, of course, we know is wisdom, right? But I wanted to really dive a little bit deeper because what I've noticed is that they had this whole thing where women was wearing like a string of pearls on their neck. I guess this might have been some type of sorority thing, whatever in the hell was going on and everything. But the significance of those pearls, they help to really help you to raise your frequency enough to get higher divine guidance. Now on here, I'm on Google, so you know I'm working it out with Google. You know, I got to work with them myself before I go to Google to get that, to see if that's in alignment, because then if it's not, then I can create my own site and put something on here for somebody to look at a different perspective. These on here, and see, it doesn't necessarily mean that Google is the be all and end all. What it is that there's a lot of people that's doing the work out here in these streets, and they're putting the information that they got on here, or there's some people that ain't doing the work, putting the information on there. But you really got to use discernment when you out here in these cosmic streets. The pearl, it says it enhances personal integrity and helps to provide focus to one's attention. The pearl symbolizes purity and is a stone of sincerity. It brings truth to situations and loyalty to a cause and inhibits boisterous behavior. The divine rebel. The divine rebel. Say word, somebody. Say word. So let me read the message that I got from the goddess KUAN Yin before we rolls up out. The ascended master KUAN Yin. I've been calling her the goddess KUAN Yin for the longest, but in my study, I'm learning that she's an ascended master because of the bodhisattva thing, whatever, right? This energy works for me, and it really helps me to get into a more compassionate state. And in my community, I started really dealing with the goddess KUAN Yin because she shows up as Quan Am or something like that at the Chinese what is it, Chinese grocery store. I go there all the time. I buy my herbs and I buy, you know, the ginseng, the ginkgo, the ancestor money and all of that type of shit. They got all them shits there, right? And also they had the KUAN incense, which really helps to bring an elevated healing vibe. And when people is trying your patience and shit like that, or you know somebody that's going to come to your house that you can't really prevent them from showing up, they're going to show up and try your nerves, that's a good time to burn that incense as well, right? The divine rebel. Keep you in a space where you in your highest vibration, not losing who you are, but navigating a situation in the highest vibration, using your magic, your kindness, your consideration, right? You bring in the star player to the game, but you also effectively communicating, right? Assertively communicating your wants, your needs, without it being a weapon to beat somebody's ass with, right? Here's the message from the goddess Kuan Yin, from the ascended master Kuan Yin. We bring you the blessing of the divine rebel. The divine rebel shakes things up, creates a divine disturbance, and refuses to play by the rules. They do this because they love divine love. They know that there is nothing as powerful as the unconditional love of the divine. It will have its way in the world, in the hearts of all living beings. It will not be tamed, controlled, restricted, or denied. And if there is a rule that gets in the way of that love, then the divine rebel will find another way so that love can have its way. The divine rebel in you is not meant to do things the way others say you should. Some people may come frustrated with you because they won't know why you have to stand up and speak your truth. And that's okay. Divine rebels are not always understood, but they are respected by those who are ready to make love more important than fear, and who are willing to contribute constructively towards the healing of the world. That's your message from the goddess Kuan Yin. Get you a pearl and really connect to that energy of the goddess Kuan Yin. It is a mellow, peaceful, serene energy. It helps you to navigate foolishness, niggardry, and fuckery with precision. I tell you what, it's definitely something to work with. I get me a little pearl. I got one from one of my old earrings and the back fell off, right? And I put that bad boy right up in the belly button. I got my pearl bracelet on today because I didn't want to wear the earrings. But with that, I'm here to tell you, it definitely helps to raise the frequency. It helps you to be able to navigate difficult situations where you can show up and be your authentic self, where you can show up for yourself without it turning into a struggle, a confrontation, or any of the other bullshit that brings you to a lower vibration. It will assist you in respectfully disagreeing and still being able to stay connected in a positive and supportive way. You need that shit for your life. I know I do. I don't know about you. If you want to be in some shit, whatever. But me, I'm here to tell you, I need that shit in my life in a mighty and powerful way. And especially during these particular times. We got Mercury in Cancer, so you can definitely get out here in these streets, communicate your feelings, because next week it go into Leo and it looks something different. Peace and light, peace and love.
Yeah, come on, let me show you what it is right now. Let me step up and handle my biz right now. Ooh, niggas don't need